So today I'm going to start working on this sewing machine that I recently won on eBay. It's a Guhl Harbeck. And when I first got it, it was covered in dust and barely moved. So I've been soaking it for several days in penetrating oil, and now I'm going to take it apart. When it came, it was mounted on this board, and I love the combination of metal and wood, but I happen to have the original plate for it because I work on old sewing machines and collect them. When I see parts, I pick them up. And I have the base, and now I have the top that fits exactly into it. So I think it has to go back on the base. And there's almost no paint left on this. You can see a little bit. That's how much paint decoration there is on this machine. So I think I'm going to try to repaint the entire machine. But first, I'm going to take it all apart so I can really get in and clean the pieces. You won't believe how different it looks. This is actually brass. The gears are brass. It just needs so much cleaning. So I'm going to take it apart. We're going to clean it and put it back together. Here it is, all taken apart. I love looking at all the pieces laid together. So now I'm going to just start with the first cleaning. I've got some really hot, I can barely touch it, hot water. It's just Dawn dish soap, which is great for breaking down grease. And for some reason, I'm out of wire brushes. I always have wire brushes. I can't find any in my house. So I'm just going to start scrubbing away at all of these pieces until I get as much of the grease off that I can get. Okay, so I've washed off the first coat of grease and grime. Now I'm just going to use a little Goo Gone. And I actually prefer the Goof Off brand, but I don't have any right now. So we're just going to use what I have. And it's already starting to clean up so much. You can actually see that these are brass. There's a few brass pieces. I love the brass pieces on the machine. I just think they look so cool and against the dark metal. So I'm going to scrub all these pieces again. And then I'm going to take them out on my drill press with a wire brush set up on it and clean those. Okay, we've had just washed with dish soap and water, and then I did another one with the Goo Gone, and now I've got them good enough to go out and use them with a wire brush on my drill press. So see, they're already looking so pretty. So I'm going to use the wire brush on my drill press, and of course I'm wearing face protection. There is quite a difference between the dirty parts and the clean parts. All right, let's start on some other steps. Again, I'm wearing the face protection because I may not have the prettiest eyes or the best vision, But they're the only eyes I have, and these little wire things come flying out of here, and I'm not getting one in my eye. So now to paint this, I need to cover up all the spots that I don't want painted. So I like using little pieces of foam that I cut out of foam. And I use little leather cutting dies. And that just makes it easier. You can just use tape or rolled up paper towel. And for the big parts, I use tape. Okay, I think this is all taped up good. I'm going to go give it a coat of paint. So now I've got the wheel to do the same thing with. The inside, I'm not going to touch that because that's made out of, I'm guessing maybe lead. It has to be soft. It can't be cast iron. The cast iron could easily break when the gears roll on it. I'm going to tape this up to paint it. And I like to leave the groove that's meant to have the, if you put it on a treadle, the belt would go through this groove. I don't want to paint this, but taping it would also be a pain in the butt. So I'm just going to put a piece of elastic over that groove and I won't have to tape it off. That will keep the paint out of there. And then it'll be a fun contrast between the black paint and the polished cast iron. And my cast iron's not polished that well. But this, I don't like to polish the machines too shiny because these machines are over 100 years old. They earned this look. I want it to be able to show it off. So I couldn't get tape to stick around the outside, so I'm just going to use this circle cutter I have and cut a little circle to put over it. You just put the little blade in the slot, spin it around. Must not have that in there, right? And it cuts a circle. Let's try this one. Oh, that's perfect. I'm just gonna tack that on there. Perfect. So now the hand wheel's all taped up and I'm just going to go give this a little coat of paint. So all these pieces have now been painted and I'm going to take off the tape. this base didn't need any tape, so that's all set. So we're just gonna pull all these pieces out. So I've unplugged all of the holes, taken off all of the tape, and this is just going to look so cool when you start getting these really cool colors on here. And I'm going to do a little bit of decoration with paint before I put it together. So I'm going to go plan that out, and then we'll record some of that painting. So I'm ready to paint. I've got a bunch of paint brushes. I have a stencil I'm not going to use, but I'm just using it for inspiration. I have a couple of vintage machines here that I'm going to look at, and I'm going to just do it. Let's see what happens. Well, I'm not sure that's exactly what I was going for, but this is what I came up with, and that's how it's gonna be. There you go. I'm not a painter. And now I'm gonna put it all back together. Let's see what we come up with.